Hooray for Hollywood. Love means never having to say you're sorry. Oh, hello there. I am Stan the Movie Man, and this is my review of The Darkest Minds. It stars Amanda Stenberg, Mandy Moore, Gwendolyn Christie, Harris Dickinson, Patrick Gibson, and more. It is the story of a time when they're calling it a plague, travels through the world's children, and 90% of them die. But the survivors, they come out of it with enhanced abilities. Some of them just have enhanced intelligence and problem-solving skills, and they are color-coded as green. Some of them have the ability to manipulate electricity, and those folks are yellow. And some of them can manipulate objects, telekinesis, and those folks are blue. But then you have orange and red. And orange can control people's minds, either by touch or at a distance. And reds are the most dangerous of all. They, at least from what I see in the movie, control fire. They can burst people into flames and project flames. One of these young ladies is named Ruby. She's played by Amanda Stenberg. And she is shipped off to a camp for other children that have survived the plague with abilities. And she's an orange, which is considered one of the two most dangerous. But she touches the doctor who's examining her, and he makes her a green, because that's what she told him to do. A physician at the camp named Kate, played by Mandy Moore, knows that Ruby is actually an orange, and she gets her out of the camp. Now, there's somebody with Kate. Ruby touches this man, and he sees that at least in his past he was a guard at the camp, so she's afraid of him and she runs away. That's when she runs into a group of other kids. One of those is Liam, played by Harris Dickinson, and they go on the run together. And they are trying to avoid the people, the bounty hunters sent out to search for them. One of those is named Lady Jane. She's played by Gwendolyn Christie. Not a nice person. They're looking for this alleged camp where they will be amongst their own kind, and they are safe. They are protected. The movie's based on a young adult novel, and this is an effort to kick off a franchise, much like The Hunger Games, and I'm not sure it's going to work. This movie suffers from an extraordinary level of logic errors, flaws in pure logic. Flaws in just the design of the world, where the kids sometimes go to hide out, how they travel, where they stay, all of it. Just the whole world is just built wrong for what this is. If a kid survived the plague, they have abilities. So if you see a teenager or a child, then that teenager or child is somebody who the government tells you is a threat. And for one couple of nights they spend in a hotel. They go to a closed mall because apparently when all the kids died, the economy collapsed for some reason that isn't explained. So they go to this closed up mall, which still has some scattered items in it. but their van is the only van parked outside of this mall, so it seems like the authorities, whose sole job is to find these kids, could find them pretty easily. Also, on top of all the logic problems, there's a sort of ham-fisted romance that develops between Ruby and Liam. And because her power is when she touches people's skin, she can't kiss him. And they have this sort of will they, won't they, can they, should they kind of relationship that never really works as far as that goes, because all she has to do is explain to him, and also she can cause people harm with her ability, so she's afraid she'll hurt him. But if she would just explain it to him, then perhaps he wouldn't resist her powers, and he could, it wouldn't hurt him for her to interact with him, to touch him physically. I don't know if I said, but Liam is has the telekinesis. He's a blue. And also, it seems like if these kids wanted to, they could form together and just protect themselves against the adults and against the authorities coming in. But for some reason, that never gets thought of. Here's the thing: all the oranges and reds, once they're found, are usually terminated immediately. So there aren't many of them around. Actually, Ruby's the only one we see for the majority of the film. So between the world being constructed incorrectly, in my opinion, and a kind of clunky romance, and add to that the world being, going after these children, and there's never any word on if the adults are having more children, because that's kind of a requirement in order to keep a population going. You have to have more children. That never gets covered. Also, it never gets covered what caused the mutation, kind of like X-Men. What caused the mutation in the children from the disease. A lot of things aren't talked about, and maybe they would be in later movies because they are in later books. But in this movie, it seems like it's not a bad premise. It's been done before, X-Men, but it isn't well done. It isn't, just from a basic logic point of view. It isn't terribly good, and that's why I'm giving The Darkest Minds 2 stars. Go to StanTheMovieMan.com and read my complete review. Listen to The Fractured Frame, where some friends of mine and I get together and discuss the latest in movie, TV, and streaming news. You can get that wherever you get podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter @MovieManStan, and you can send me emails, StanTheMovieMan123 @gmail.com. Till next time. Later.